Sitting here with Future Man.
Hello, everyone!
So you started the Alternative Library of Bellingham out of a house. And what is the Alternative Library?
Basically, my vision for it is a library which is directly supported by the people who use it, and therefore directly reflects their interests and things that they care about. And fosters support for subversive media and experimental art and literature.
Yeah. So you have, what kind of stuff do you have here as far as media?
A lot of experimental fiction, a lot of contemporary spirituality, modern science writing, activist literature, and some anarchist stuff, and a lot of social history. So, I mean, really everything, but those are the things that I think stand out the most.
How'd you get the idea to run it out of a house?
How did I get that idea? I think that was just like what I had, and so I just worked with what I had. And I didn't have a lot of money, and just had like the idea, so I just made it happen in whatever way I could.
And did you ask permission, and then they said yeah, and then it started small?
It started actually in a different house than with the group of people that I live with now. But then I ended up having to move it into a different house, and it started out as a very small thing, and most people didn't realize how seriously I was taking it in my head, and the goals that I had for the library, or how much that I wanted it to grow. And so a lot of people kind of saw it as just like my insanity at first, and then now it's a pretty substantial thing, and people take it more seriously.
Awesome. What are the hours of the library, and how does it work?
I keep it open every day from 2 to 7 mostly. Sometimes like I'm a little late opening up, just because I'm like doing other stuff. But I run the whole thing off of donations. So I ask people to donate $5 a month, and that money goes straight to a pot, which I use that money then to buy books off of a request list. And I prioritize the books based on who's asking for them, how many people are looking for it, and how long it's been on the request list. So.
And people can check out the books?
Oh yeah. I think all but 3 books in here are available for checkout. Simply because those 3 are of such odd proportion that they're difficult to handle. One thing that I kind of made a rule from the very beginning was, no, I'm not going to take books on loan from people, because sometimes people would say like, oh, here, let the library borrow this book for a while. Mm-hmm. I was like, no, that's just too confusing for me. That causes too many problems. If you want to donate it to me permanently, you can do that, and I'll call it a donation for this month, and waive your $5 a month thing. Mm-hmm. But then if you ever want to ask for this book back, you should just keep it. It's your book, just keep it. Because things just get way too confusing when you're dealing with handling a bunch of stuff for other people. It has to, and it was hard for me actually, because I kind of was into collecting books for a while, and it was hard for me to be like, okay, these aren't my books anymore. These are the library's books. That was kind of a difficult thing for me to wrap my head around. And still at times I'm like, yep, these aren't my books. Oh well, whatever. Now they're everyone's books. It's way cooler. Yeah, and I still have, only recently I started realizing like, yeah, I do want to have some books that are my own, something that I think is really precious to me personally. And so, yeah, I now have about 10 books of my own. Like 3,000 books that I share with everyone.
Seems like the library is sort of a hub of activity and good times.
Yeah, well, it's a place that in Bellingham, like, everyone kind of knows where this place is. Even if they haven't come in here and checked out books, they at least know this location, and they know that there's certain activities that happen here, like Food Not Bombs. And so it's a really easy place for people to invite friends over to. Like, oh yeah, at the library. Like, we're going to be doing this party here tonight, or we're going to be cooking and bringing food downtown, or we're meeting, a few clubs meet here pretty regularly, so, yeah.
So it's more than a library. It's a
Yeah, it's definitely, it's like a community center in a lot of ways.
yeah.
That have been popping up in Africa, that were bookstores that basically charged a membership and functioned almost exactly how I run this place, but they were putting more intention into selling books, but they also had, almost all their books were available for checkout, and yeah, it worked off of membership, and that paid for almost everything. So.
Are you open to people asking you how you work things here, or if they want to start one of their own?
Yeah, totally.
Hello, this is Christopher.
I definitely encourage people to
Hey, Morgan.
do things like this, like if you have a vision for something, or if you want to start a library, like it's pretty easy, or it has been for me, I mean, I probably had to make some sacrifices in my personal life, but it really, it's totally been worth it for what I
Tomorrow?
see that I've created now, looking at it.